Well, it's 3:14 in the afternoon. Lovely day. Quite cool up here, of course, because we're up in the subalpine, semi-subalpine. So let's go and look at some BINATA, shall we? Hopefully, if they're there. I think I'm going to run this card out, just getting them, but I've got another card in my pocket. So there's about 20 minutes on. I don't think you need more than 20 minutes to look at BINATA, surely. Now, somewhere through there is the track, I believe. If we can just nip across here onto it. Take a short detour, rather than a C tour or an E tour or an F tour. Yeah, I think they're the posts where the track used to be. Oh, there you go. There's a bonus for you. Some nice auriculatas to start the journey. They are still up. Another one down there. Well, see, the moss is starting to dry out and take on that brown colour. And once it's in that state, it won't come back until next year, or if there's some really unusual heavy rains, and it will. But we'll just go through here. Oh, there's the track. Just saves me having to walk all the way back down to the kiosk to find out where the track starts. So here we go. We're on the track now, and there's lovely cherry essence in the edges of those wattles. So I'm going to have to take that out of my pocket, aren't I? Because it's going to drive you nuts. There we go. Oh, a little bit of a sign we can film for the foreigners. I know you like all this stuff. All the maps and the verbiage. There you go, Blair railway station, supposedly the highest railway station in South Australia. Eagle on the Hill, Summertown, Norton Summit, Marietta, River Torrens at Athelston. This is the Eurobilla Trail. And you are here. That's picking it up. So yeah, we're just out of the heart of the city actually here, so it doesn't take you too long. It only took me barely half an hour to get up here from where I live. So you know, all those lovely bird calls. And it really is a nice day, you know. Not sunny enough to need your hat or anything like that. And yeah, the sunlight is just perfect at 3:18 in the afternoon. So hopefully it'll, I can't remember which way the sun goes down in this area. So I think, yeah. I'm remembering back to those photographs I took in late 2008 when I first had the camera. They were in sunlight, so yes, I think the track's going to be lit up. So if there is anything growing, all the droplets are going to be in sunlight. So yeah. That's going to get annoying too, isn't it? All that scrunching on this dolomite limestone underfoot. The calcium magnesium carbonate, and with that characteristic steel blue grey colour. They call this road metal, probably because it's so hard. But, yeah, there's a bit of a reservoir there, and there's a bigger one on the other side. You can see that on Google. But this area here contains the largest peat silt swamp in South Australia. The emphasis on the silt, that's the distinguishing feature. So yeah. Now, I don't know what's up there, because there could be some springs up there. Because the bloke that I talked to about the BINATA, he implied that it was actually probably up there somewhere, growing around a spring, because he says it's opposite this big quartzite intrusion which we see down there. He says it's on the opposite side, so that can only mean up there somewhere. So maybe Donnie and I need to take a recce up there, and there's some native celytris there, or native pine. It's an actinorhizal tree, so that's why it's always so green and luscious, because it fixes its own nitrogen. So various mosses, club mosses and things like that on the side here. They look much better in the middle of the year when it's all wet, of course, but it's starting to dry out slightly. So yeah, but this is one of the places that remains ever flowing. Because if you go down, oh, you can hear that? You can hear that trickle? It'd be nice to find a U-trick in there, wouldn't it? But if you come here during the week, and there's not some narrator on the other side of the camera yakking on, you can hear a pin drop sometimes. The occasional person goes past, but during the week, yeah, you know, and you're outside the tourist season, and there's not some mad marathon going on or something like that along this pathway. Well, it's absolutely wonderful, and I don't know if the camera's actually picking up the contrast between the silhouettes and the shadows and things. It's just and there's a nice cool crisp dampness in the air, the cherry essence of the wattles or acacias. And the slope there, I mean, that's 40 degrees, maybe 45 up the top there. So yeah, and maybe up there somewhere there's a spring, so that feeds probably a BINATA. And if we get down to this bit, there's a signpost that says there's U-tricks in there. It actually says U-tricks plural. So we know dichotoma grows in there, but we also think that Utricularia violacea grows in there as well, but we've never been able to find it. I mean, it's just going to be so small, the leaves are going to be so small. I mean, we've really got to familiarise ourselves with the area, much more like take a decade to I can't even say the word, familiarise ourselves with the area. And yeah, but here we get down here, and then we'll get to the rock wall where the BINATAs grow a bit, in a way, like they supposedly grow over in New South Wales on rock faces and overhanging cliffs and things like that, where there's a constant steady supply of water. Because that's the one thing about Drosophila BINATA compared to Drosophila capensis, of course. You know, if you leave BINATA roots out overnight, they'll just dehydrate and that's it, it's gone. I mean, it can only survive if there's permanent dampness in the soil, otherwise the roots just die out and that's it, the plant is dead. Whereas capensis, the roots can survive in a dried out lump of peat. I mean, Donnie has proved that to me on a number of occasions. So yes. That may actually be the remains of one of the trees that Donnie walked along. I can't remember now, or is it further down? That big log you see what Donnie walking on. This whole area got burnt out in about, I think it was the second ash Wednesday, I think it was, the 1983 one, as opposed to the year before, the 1982 one that everyone forgets about. Because we had two ash Wednesdays in a row, and it was, oh no, we're not going to have another one. Of course, we had a really wet winter, and everything grew back really heavily, and yeah, it became the big one until, of course, the one over in Victoria a few years ago. And those photographs, I think in Lowry 3, they were taken, I think, of that year. I think it was that year that this area got burnt out. Don't quote me on that, but I believe so. And I think that's of this swamp that we see here when it's totally burnt out. So, and the swamp they say at the base of Mount Lofty, I only found that in 2009, early 2009. I told Donnie about it, but we still haven't had a field trip to actually get down to it, or even find a way to get into it. I mean, it's quite big and overgrown, but you'd have to work out a plan, you know, a way of getting into it. So anyway, this is the beginning of this long peat silt swamp that you can actually see on Google. It goes for, you know, what, kilometre and a half, I would say. You know, you look on Google, it looks like at least 1,000 metres, maybe that 1,500 metres down that way. Just goes down and slightly around, and goes down to a bigger swamp down the bottom that really doesn't have much in it, because I've been through. We went through that one in our early days, because we came up from Eagle on the Hill. Flowing water, and that water goes down and eventually goes into Moeata Falls, if I've got that right. I made a silly boo-boo. Oh, you see, it's always a nice sign to see water flowing across the ground out of a rock face, or something that they've actually dug into. Maybe they've disturbed the water. See, that's the so-called quartzite intrusion. Now, the chap said the BINATA used to grow opposite on the other side, so that is up there somewhere. So Donnie and I ought to go up there. I told him we ought to go up there. Then I went to climb up this thing, and he got into quite a state. Like, didn't want me to go up there for some reason. So yeah, perhaps he knows more than he's letting on. Anyway, where's that tree? Oh, I think, is that the tree? Yeah, I think that's the same tree that he walked upon, what, 2003? So what's that? God, that's almost a decade ago now. Isn't that amazing? More water on the ground, that's always a good sign. Now, it shouldn't be too long on. Just as we find them, the card's going to run out, I can tell. You can't you tell that? It's always the way. Well, I've definitely charged up the batteries this morning. I had a quick look at the lens, and I didn't think it was worth cleaning again, so I'm sorry if there's any sun flashes on it, but as I said, I wasn't in a good mood because I lost my lens hood yesterday. I couldn't be buggered going back to look for it. It was too hard. I reckon I know where it came off. So oh, now there's a sort of a light. I wouldn't say quite it's peaty, but down there, I think that's the area that got burnt out in 1983. Somewhere along here he took the shot looking probably that way, I think, over there. So see, up there I reckon there must be springs up there somewhere. That's what the bloke's talking about. There must be BINATA up there, probably better ones up there, but the easy ones are the ones down here. Once you see coral fern, it's always a good sign, because, well, at least in South Australia, because there's coral fern that grows down at the Mount Compass Boardwalk, and there's BINATA down there. And you might see the odd stylidium, but see, we walked past it the year before. I think it was 2002, or was it